Hello, everyone, and welcome to Osquery Office Hours. This is the beginning of 2023, so exciting. I'm sure I'm going to typo the date a whole lot. Maybe the rest of you will as well, but I don't normally put that in the SQL code. So anyhow, welcome to Office Hours. First section is announcements and highlights. I don't think I have any. Other people? Okay. Next up, issues, questions, PRs, anything people want to bring up that they didn't feel like merited an agenda item or something, someone who's just dropping in wants to raise. I mostly see the usual people, but, maybe someone's got something. Okay. I had one agenda item that I wrote down, which was that we should think about the state of 570. So I pushed 570 to Collide's beta fleet. I haven't seen any issues. I think Zach pushed it to the fleet DM beta fleet as well. Maybe one of you fleet people can speak to that.
I haven't heard from Zach on any issues on 570, so I think it were
just join.
Yeah, Zach is here.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
How's 570 look to you? Looks okay to me.
Yeah. Yeah, looks okay to me. We have not noticed any issues, and I think we've been running it for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, same. You want to call it stable?
Sounds good to me.
I feel like I need a gavel. Okay.
We'll push it out.
570 stable, and we'll click some buttons and make some PRs.
Great. Congrats, everyone.
Okay, that was my one agenda item. Other people have stuff?
I think Stefan was going to mention something about dropping CentOS 6 for good with the upcoming iterations of library updates.
Yeah, this is sort of formal, informal. So I'm still handling updating the last two or three libraries that we have CVE for, although only one I think it's affected, actually affected by a CV. And what I'm proposing is that after those, we will start configuring on CentOS 7 instead of CentOS 6. And this is half of the, technically is half of the work we should do, because we should also technically update the Osquery toolchain and correct an issue that the toolchain has. Basically, it is using kernel headers that are newer than the platform we are actually targeting, and this creates sometimes create issues and problems also on kernel structure sizes if you are using some direct API like Audit maybe, or things like that. But so the half part is that we have to regenerate the configuration for all the third-party libraries on CentOS 7. But then in the future, if you want to have, if you want to fix the Osquery toolchain, use a new glibc, and also update the toolchain itself in the sense that we are using Clang 9, and instead we use something newer, with new features, etc., we will have to do the configuration again.
So so to update what we're targeting, we both have to update the libraries and also the tool chain. And you're proposing we start moving the libraries but leave the tool chain lagging?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that like, is it going to be a problem if the tool chain is on CentOS 6 but the library configs are on CentOS 7?
No, it's just not using improvement that have appeared in glibc, in newer glibc from CentOS 7 and on. So it's still using old stuff.
But the thing that I would have expected, and maybe I have it backwards, is if you configure a library for CentOS 7, but then try and build it on CentOS 6, it will have hard coded in like those assumptions.
No, so okay, I see what you mean. No, so the tool chain uses a glibc that version that is equal to CentOS 6, but we never build on CentOS 6 in any situation. So where we actually so the one of the objectives of the toolchain is that you should be able to build on any version and target always the platform that the glibc says, basically. And since we are selecting the CentOS 6 glibc, we were targeting CentOS 6 glibc. But there are other things in that. There is also the kernel. And if we are still configuring third-party libraries on CentOS 6, then the third-party libraries will be configured for CentOS 6 and up. If instead we update and use CentOS 7, then the libraries will still use the old glibc, but will target the newer kernel. And additionally, it should be also slightly easier to set up the configuring machine, basically, because there are newer like the build systems, autoconf, etc., that is used by those libraries is newer and should be easier and slightly quicker to do that work.
I guess I still don't understand how, if like what the library is going to target if it doesn't target the newer glibc, but
It
I'm
targets
totally happy to defer to you. So
a system in this case is composed by, let's say, by two things, and or at least the part we care about are two: the kernel and the glibc version. Those can go forward, can have different version, can go forward with different speeds. Now, the glibc has a range, for instance, has a range of supported kernel versions. There isn't only one.
So the libraries,
So
you basically end up configuring the libraries to use the CentOS 6 glibc and the CentOS 7 kernel?
Exactly.
Okay.
For now, yeah.
And then once you finish, then we'll finish moving.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Is this reasonable for you?
I mean, I guess so. Like I'm always have been I always have been not fully convinced because we have to do this work 2 times. But it's also true that to do all the work that is needed at the same time, it might take too much time to get to some result. And so, yeah, I think we can split the work into like this.
Okay. The last time we talked about deprecating CentOS 6, Microsoft popped up and said that they had a bunch of customers running CentOS 6, and we never really figured out a path forward for them. And I don't know that it's our job to, but they may pop up again and be like, we would love CentOS 6, so how do we feel? Like, is there a path forward, or are we just like, yeah, we're done? Or can they pay you? Or like, what are our options?
Yeah, the pay, yes, meaning anyone that wants to port back Osquery. I mean, it's really a maintenance burden to keep supporting CentOS 6. And so, and in some cases, I actually expect in some cases that we are able to support. I mean, I'm mainly thinking right now at audit and maybe newer stuff, because right now for instance, there's a problem with the util Linux library that I can't update it beyond a certain point, because it basically as if it dropped support for CentOS 6. Like, it's trying to use something that doesn't exist in CentOS 6, and there's no backward compatibility. We could do a patch on the library, but yeah, things like this, we should prefer not to have to patch the libraries to support CentOS 6. And yeah, again around audit and other things like that, we might not always work correctly with like latest versions of Linux platforms. So that's also a problem. Like, if you stay behind for a lot, you cannot always work with both the ends. So yeah, the newest and the oldest.
I mean, I'm generally of the opinion that it makes sense to keep moving forward, and we can deprecate older OSs that are well out of support.
I feel that way too. I just also, if someone shows up and asks, I feel like we can talk about what answer we have ready. And maybe the answer is you stay with the old Osquery, or maybe the answer is you backport it, or maybe the answer is you hire someone else to. But then if like Trail of Bits steps forward and says that they're willing to backport Osquery version 6 to CentOS 6, then there's sort of a question of why don't they just do that under the Osquery umbrella directly for pay, not, for nothing. So
CentOS 6 has been EOL for 2 years. Like, how many customers do we have running it?
when you say we, who exactly do you mean?
Like any of us.
To my knowledge, no one on this phone call has any CentOS 6 customers.
Okay.
There is one entity who is quite large who has told us that they have a large number of Red Hat RHEL CentOS 6 machines.
Okay, I guess large enough that they're doing the security backports themselves. I hope
I'm
they are
shrugging because I don't know. So
I think
at that
the
point, I
expectation
feel
is
like they can
that
probably expect brokenness and backport Osquery themselves, because it's very EOL.
I would expect that people that see something in core expect it to be actively supported by the community. And keeping CentOS 6 there is a problem. I think, and I'm talking just for myself as an individual, I would backport it if I was asked to, but not in upstream. Like, it is so unusual to have it that it is going to be whoever wants it burden to keep it up to date. Because I don't want to waste Stefano's time or your time trying to backport things for free for something that is really not that useful.
it seems reasonable to me. I'm kind of happy to roll with what what most of us feel like is okay. CentOS 6 feels like it's kind of been gone for a long time, so I don't have any deep love for it.
Yeah. Again, to stress it, yeah, they could just use an older version, and if they don't care of the problem that the CentOS 6 version has because it's not updated anymore, I wonder why would they worry about any problem in third-party libraries in Osquery. So like I would even expect that it's fine for them to use the latest version that works on CentOS 6, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the perspective that I would take. And if there's any critical security vulnerabilities, then they should like cherry pick those into that latest version and build their own, or hire someone else to do that.
How do we announce this? Because I don't really remember how we dealt with this kind of deprecation in the past.
We don't have a super formal method. We have a ticket that is called "Consider Desupporting CentOS 6" number 7445. And I just commented on it and pinged the person who raised some concerns. It's been a year since we last talked about this. So, I mean, it feels pretty reasonable to go forward with that. In terms of announcing, we can mention it on Slack. We would probably put it in the release notes under the, deprecated thing. Stick it up at the top somewhere and just mention that it's deprecated. And I kind of don't have I don't know a better answer.
Yeah, and I think that totally makes sense. And do we have somewhere in the Osquery documentation where we list the supported platforms?
I don't remember.
I mean, I guess in theory, we don't really test it on every platform that it, especially if like there's lots of flavors of Linux where it may well work, but we don't test it. Maybe we should list where we do test it, where we think it works well, where we know it doesn't work, and that kind of thing.
I mean, that seems reasonable to me. I would probably say that it's reasonable to stick something into our docs. It's probably also reasonable to update the download pages to mention where we test it, right? We have an RPM link there, and we could probably just mention that we target CentOS 7 or something.
Yeah, for testing, I would say the CI is the reference, which ends up being often much newer than the oldest version we support, especially because it's Ubuntu, and we don't have access to older images there. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat related question. This is though for the ARM side. Do we know who has access to the AWS account that we are currently using? Okay. Because so I noticed that there are two things. One is that we are using part of the logic for the CI that comes from a repository by Teddy, and I think that repo specifically we should maybe bring it in Osquery so that we can update it. Okay. The other thing is that we eventually we might want also to update the version we are using for ARM. This might be maybe, I don't know, slightly more difficult because it's not as old, but still, it's Ubuntu 16. It's still possible, like the image we are using on the CI, like we have the AMI, and if we ever like lose it, we can like, I think we can never get it back basically because there's no Amazon EC2 1604 anymore. At least the official Amazon image. There are still images from the community, which are the ones I am using to generate the configuration. But yeah, like there might be some differences between the images. So ideally, we should try maybe to use something that's supported. But yeah,
There's I don't remember much about how we set this up. So, oh, Teddy probably did a lot of this, although I'm sure I helped.
There are some AWS credentials in the 1Password.
Yeah, there are. I have access to all of AWS, and it's also in the 1Password vault. What I don't remember is where the machines came from. So it looks like that's just, are you talking about the Osquery builder machine? The Osquery builder Docker image?
no. So the Docker image we can like regenerate, but the host for that Docker machine, because the problem is that Docker doesn't change the kernel. Like it's only the system, and actually we are interested in both kernel, the correct kernel version, and glibc. So Docker only brings in the correct glibc, but not the kernel version if we cannot spin up a host correct.
Yeah, and this is, you're talking about, this is using the this code path is, this is using GitHub Action that's coming out of Teddy's repository, which spins up a thing ahead of time. Yeah.
Using another action to start the AWS instance and kill it. Yeah. Using an AMI that we have in our account.
Yeah. I have no memory of how that AMI got created.
I mean, I know that some AWS representative helped us and I think gave us credits. So probably between Teddy and them.
They helped less than you'd think. This was mostly Teddy with some of me and some other internet stuff. I could probably find some notes again. That might also be a standard AMI.
Yeah, exactly. But
AMI.
Yeah, which doesn't exist anymore though. I mean, if I'm trying right now to create Amazon Linux Ubuntu 16.04 AMI, there's no image like that. At least not the official one.
I mean, I wonder if. And
yeah, if anything, also we might need to document how that part works. So.
Yeah. Wonder if we can list where the AMI came from, if like the Amazon account will tell us or something.
The EC2 should have a base AMI thing, if I remember the API correctly, but I don't know.
Yeah, this bit of our CI is kind of a big mess.
It does seem like we could probably update to, like, if we're building in Docker, we can update a lot. If we're not building in Docker, we can probably still update some, because it seems unlikely someone would spend a ton of effort porting their code to a new architecture and then just leave it on an old version. But actually, now that I think about it more, that seems like that seems kind of likely.
I mean, Stefano, do you want to just try changing the AMI designation and seeing if it works?
I mean, I guess, but I would need to. No, I don't have to need to have the account because it should be unique.
Okay, I assume
I
there's
can try to make a branch on the Osquery repository so that on the branch it will run the ARM CI will run, so that I can test the already the official setup. But yeah, I can do a test like that.
I'd also be okay merging to main. We can merge to master or something and see if it breaks.
Oh well, the thing is, no, actually that's fine. Sorry, I was thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that, but we have to regenerate all the configs. But no, it's not necessary. Yeah, never mind. Later, maybe if we decide to drop support for Ubuntu 16.04, we will have to. But yeah.
Right. Although some of that'll just be in the tool chain.
Well, both actually. I mean, we have to regenerate all the configurations and update the toolchain too. Like the path is similar for x86. Basically, we have to, and even there, I have to double check if we have selected for the toolchain that we have selected the kernel header version, the correct kernel header versions. But otherwise, yeah, we can. Maybe there it's easier. We can update the toolchain so that it points to the new glibc, and then configure every library. It still will take quite a while because it's like 40 libraries. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, it'll just magically happen with the other work.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm not saying that we should be dropping now Ubuntu 16.04 for ARM. Although, yeah, I'm always in general in favor of going forward. I'm not sure how is though the EOL status for Ubuntu 16.04. So yeah.
Yeah, I have been happily ignoring the mess of CI. Yeah, I still feel like we don't have really clear options without sort of reinventing what we're doing, just because GitHub doesn't have support for ARM. So that kind of leaves us in an awkward spot. Well, maybe. Oh no, okay. No, it's all the self-hosted stuff, which is just, I don't know, self-hosted stuff feels like a very bad fit for open source projects. So yeah. Well, still a bummer. I don't know. I feel like the thing to consider if we really wanted to open the can of worms, we should be looking at some of the other CI vendors that maybe have native support for this stuff. But that's a big project. So
I mean, yeah, we can do a mix of CIs. Might be in some cases, yeah, slightly more work, but at the same time, yeah, you have the upside. So the upside is still that you are testing in the PR. But yeah, I'm mostly asking also for the point from the point of view of who has to update the libraries, because it still can be fine, as we are already doing, that the CI is on a newer version. At least we have things tested. But when we have to update the configuration, we should be using the correct version. And my main point was that since now the Linux AMI image for Ubuntu 16.04 is not present anymore, there is still the community one. But yeah, we should be. I don't know for how much time it will stay there. So yeah.
I kind of think you're the closest person we have to someone who owns all of that. So
yeah, exactly.
Whatever you think is reasonable, I'll support.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do have access to all of the AWS stuff. I just
Okay.
haven't looked at it recently.
No, okay. So yeah, the answer I had here today, totally fine. And I mean, I'm happy that we have full control, basically. So yeah.
Yeah, we do. Other agenda items? People have anything they want to talk about? Not. Maybe we can quickly review the security stuff, see if there's anything new. I don't see anything newer than 3 weeks, so I think that means we look at nothing new. Do people want to look at PRs or just sort of cut out a little early?
I will rebase my BPF pull request later today if anyone wants to consider merging this if the release is stable.
If what? Sorry.
In case the release is stable and we are not in some kind of merge freeze,
I don't think we're ever in a merge freeze, and we declared 5.7 stable.
Yeah, I'd say go for it, Alessandro. I think this is the one that we already discussed that we were comfortable with merging, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, I'll maybe go try and click some buttons to make 5.7.0 stable. And otherwise, nice to see you, everyone. And I hope people have a wonderful 2023. And I will see you all in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Happy
Thank you,
New Year.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.